day 8. Is it anything great? Hi and welcome to another episode, and what we've got here is the PiHut Advent Calendar, the 12 projects of Codemas. And we're on to day 8, so let's pull this out. Oh, it feels a bit of weight to it. Dun dun dun. What have we got? What have we got? We have something with a long cable. Something with a very long cable. There we go. Oh, and a resistor. So we've got some jumper wires, a resistor, and I believe this is a temperature sensor, but I'm not too sure just yet. Let's get the website across so we know what we're doing. And we've got the Maker Advent Calendar tracking temps. Welcome to day 8 of your 12 projects of Codemas Advent Calendar. Today we're going to be sensing the temperature of our local environment and using these temperature readings to make fun projects. Let's scroll down a bit. Temperature sensors are another component that you will likely walk past every single day, the thermostat for your home's heating system. Whether a traditional version or a modern smart thermostat, will use something similar to what you would find in the box today. Ovens, cars, offices, and many other everyday items and locations use temperature sensors. With winter very much here. Not quite, but anyway, getting colder every day. It's a great time to learn how to keep an eye on the temperature with code and your Pico. Box number 8, contents: a custom waterproof temperature sensor with male jumper wires, a 4.7K resistor, and male-to-male jumper wires. 3 of them, right? Today's project. Today we will use our temperature sensor to measure the ambient temperature in your home, then move on to more exciting projects like sensing liquid temperature and creating an alarm to let you know when your home is getting too cold. The sensor in your box is a custom version of our popular waterproof temperature sensor. The metal tip houses a sensor inside, specifically the DS18B20 compatible one-wire sensor, and is sealed with a length of wire, allowing you to dunk this into water or the liquids to check the temperature. We've added male jumper wires to this version to make it easy to use with the breadboard too. What is a one-wire? One-wire is a serial communication protocol for devices to communicate to the controller. Ugh. That makes it a bit more human. Does it? Does it really? Anyway, one wire allows a special device like our temperature sensor to talk to a controller like our Pico, enabling it to send data to the Pico to be used in a program. Despite its name, you actually need at least 2 wires to use one-wire devices, and in some examples, like our sensor, we're using 3 wires. The name is related to data communication. You only need 1 wire to allow the device to talk to each other of both ways. Okay. So, construct the circuit. Once again, we're going to use the LEDs and the buzzer along with the temperature sensor. They're just a pair, so we have so many sensors and components. So remove the PIR circuit from yesterday, leaving it just the LEDs and buzz on the main breadboard. Your starting circuit should look like this. Well, in a very common kids TV program, starting with a B and ending in I've already removed them. So now move on to this. Now add the temperature sensor to the mini breadboard. Your sensor should have 3 wires, a red, yellow and white. The white wire might be black depending on the batch. Mine happens to have the white wire. So let's get it in order compared to the diagram and probably what it says. Place the wires in the top edge of the mini breadboard with the white, yellow and red as per the image below. Okay, so I've got my white, yellow and red. It's showing it's got the white wire in the 6 hole from the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Miss 1, stick the yellow one in. Miss 2 and stick the yellow one in. Miss 2 and stick the red one in. So there's a gap of 2 holes in between all the 3 wires. Not that it probably matters, but we're just trying to keep up with what's in the diagram and not get ourselves too confused. Next, add the resistor to connect the yellow and red wires in the same way as we showed below. Okay, so make sure you pick up the correct resistor. Bend it into shape. On the red wire, 1 hole down, and on the yellow wire just above the little ditch, little trough bit that's in there, but in line with the yellow wire. And then we need to sort out the left leg, the middle leg, and the right leg. So the left leg, we're going to use a black wire, because that's what they put on the diagram, and we have plenty of them. So let's get one, some group of wires over here. We need that to be in line with the white wire, but just above that trough. Then we need to go across to the blue row on here, which we're going to stick here. Oh, it's in the blue bottom line, it won't really matter, but we're just sticking it there. Then we need a yellow wire. We happen to have one of them still. We need to take that from just 2 dots down, 2 holes down from the where the yellow's gone in for the sensor, and then we need to put that in pin 30, physical pin 31 of the Pico. So we know it's 20 on both sides, but it's 1 over here and 40 over here. 1 there, 40 there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that direction, and then this bottom left pin we know it's 21 because we know how to count. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. That takes us to J10 on the board. And then we need a red wire. I need to put that in line with the red wire of the sensor just above that trough. And then we need to go on to pin 36. We know we've got 31. So next one is 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, which happens to be J5. Okay, we know we've got that correct. Let's put today's wires over here with the rest of them. Now we've got that all similar. Activity number 1, a simple temperature sensing. Let's start with a minimal program to take a single temperature reading from the sensor. Library imports. This sensor relies on some new imports that do a lot of the hard work for us. The one-wire library and the DS18X20 library. Luckily, these are now built into the MicroPython, so we don't need to worry about downloading anything. One-wire code. We set up the sensor pin as an input, and we've done before with other sensors. However, using this particular one-wire sensor requires some extra code to get it working. We have to tell the MicroPython that we're using a one-wire DS18B20 sensor with the following line in our code below. Sensor equals blah 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 blah. I'm not going to read all that out. We also need to scan for one-wire devices on the GPIO pin we have set up. So the GPIO pin we have set up. One-wire devices such as our sensor have a unique registration number in the read-only memory, or the ROM. The following line in our code below scans for sensors, ROMs connected to our pin. ROMs equals sensor.scan. Okay. The for loop. We then use the while loop, which contains a for loop. We used a for loop yesterday with a motion sensor when using a range function. But this time our range will be ROMs. The number of ROMs are scan found, which will be a single sensor. And the for loop is saying for every ROM I find, do this. The code then converts the sensor temperatures readings to centigrade and then prints this while also adding a degrees Celsius symbol to the end of it. This code commentary should make everything clear. Give it a try. Okay, so as always, they haven't told us to get everything up and running. So I'm grabbing my USB cable, plug it in, bidding. Right, then we press stop, then we copy the code. As I always say, I think you should actually type it in. Basically read the commentary, it makes perfect sense. There's a little bit more to the side there. So yeah, that makes sense. Let's run it. This thing's over here. It reckons it's 22.0625 degrees Celsius. If I hold on to it, and it's made it a bit warmer. There we go. So that should cool down now. Let's see the next reading, see if it's a little bit colder than this. Oh, it's gone up even higher. Maybe the next one. Yeah, see, it's dropped back down again. Okay, so I stop it. Move on to the next bit. Activity number 2. Activity 2 temperature indicators. Now that we have the basics covered, let's use these readings to drive our LEDs to give us a visual indication of the temperature. The example below adds our LEDs back in and uses the while loop with multiple if statement conditions to drive the LEDs depending on the temperature. Red if it goes below 18, amber if it's comfortable between 18 and 22, and green if it's over 22 degrees Celsius. Now, if like me, you might be thinking, If you're thinking the same as me, type in the comments, I'll mention it later on. But you have to get it written down already, pause the video, write it down, and come back, play the video. Because I want to know if you're thinking the same as me. We've covered the while loops, if statements, if and the elifs and ranges in the previous boxes, so the code in this example should feel very familiar. Grab a few cups of water at different temperatures, no boiling water, stop it, don't even think about it. And try dipping the waterproof end of the sensor into each one, watching the readings change to the different LEDs light up. Keep the Pico end of things as far away as possible from the water, because water and electronics aren't the best of friends, which is very true. But I'm not going to be using any water at all. I'm going to grab hold of it and I'll change the range of, well, basically we'll just see what happens. We'll just assume that the colder LED would light up if it was working. So we'll get rid of the old code. As always, you maybe should save what you've done. Paste in that, run that. No lights just yet because it has to take a reading first. And green, because it has decided it's warmer than 22 degrees Celsius. We know that. But just for effect, what I'm going to do is change the range has to be higher than 25 before it lights the green one. And I'm going to change it that it has to pick up towards 25. Just simple change. If I was keeping this, I would change the comments as well. Right, so we're going to run that program now. So now when it finds it, it should find that the amber one lights up, which it does. And if I hold on to the sensor and we get it going past 25, which we easily did last time. There we go, now it's gone across the green. So we know it works. But you mess around with your bits of water and be very, very careful because you don't want to get water everywhere anyway. You know, maybe little egg cups or something. Or even proper, actually, don't use egg cups. Use proper glasses because the weight of the proper glass will help you stop from spilling stuff everywhere. Right, so let's stop this. Get the next bit of code going. Activity 3, temperature alarm. We can now introduce our buzzer along with an alarm function into our code again to make a fun temperature alarm project. Whilst yesterday's motion sensor alarm project is great for spotting people moving in an area, this alarm can be used to keep an eye on the temperature in a specific room or area. Most of us have thermostats in our homes, but there's great fun to be had creating your own temperature sensing alarm projects to monitor a specific area. Be it for your own health or monitoring the environment for plants and pets. So, you know, your greenhouses, you could check to see if it's the temperature that you want in there, or if you've got like a lizard or something, you might want to make sure that it's little, what's the fancy thing that lizards are kept in? Let me know in the comments, I've completely forgot. I know it's a special name. Anyway, in there, you also want to make sure that it's just the right temperature. You don't want them getting too cold and you don't want them getting too hot. So, at least, you know, at least they've got room to move within the place that they live. Anyway, the code. The alarm example below is similar to yesterday's motion alarm, using the alarm function to light the LEDs and the sound buzzer when the temperature goes below 18 degrees Celsius, or change the 18 to whatever relevant your project or scenario. We've added as many comments as possible to help remind you what each section is doing. Okay, so we get rid of this. Let's copy the code across. Okay, so I'm going to change it so it's checking for below 25 because I'm not going to get glasses of water or anything like that. All I'm trying to prove is that the alarm actually does go off and everything. So let's run it. Might actually help if I click the button. There we go. Now we wait. Oh no, the alarm's gone off. If I hold on to it now though, if I get a reading bit above 25, no. So next time around, do I get a reading above 25? There we go. So the alarm doesn't go off now because it's above 25. That's fine. I'm going to stop it though so it doesn't go off again. But yeah, before I move on for the next bit, what I want to point out is for some reason the last couple of codes, they haven't bothered to change it. So when it prints to the screen, where's the print bit? This reading, they haven't bothered to make sure that it actually puts degrees Celsius at the end. They didn't do it in this one, and didn't do it in the last one. You really should, because otherwise it's 25 what some people might think it's 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Anyway, so going back to the last bit of code on activity number 2, because I was going to say I was going to talk about that one again. Basically, if you look at the code, because it's saying less or equal to 18, it'll put the red on. But what happens if it's smack on 18? Well, the thing is that equal to means it has to be smack on 18. And then the less than 18 will means everything all the way up to 17.99999, you know, 9 recurring. So it will be fine, it will still get passed on. And basically the same for this one, it's looking for less than 22. So that it's you're picking up all the 21.999 again as well. And then if it's greater or equal to 22, it will display it. Now you've got to be, these sort of things though, you've got to be careful of how you actually do your checking, because you don't want it that you accidentally pick up the same information. Because say if you put an equal sign here, if it was less than or equal to the reading, and the reading is actually 18, it would mean it was checking for 18, so it means you were checking for 18 twice. But you would actually hit this one first, so it would only ever show this. So 18 would actually never get picked up properly. And the same if you messed up doing it the other way. So be careful with that kind of code. That's what I was wanting to point out to you. Anyway, going all the way down now, day 8 is complete. Another day, another component completed. You now have a temperature sensor in your growing arsenal of parts to make projects with, and we're sure you'll use this one time and time again. As you've probably started to realize, a lot of these sensors and components are coded in a very similar way. Sometimes we need the help of imported libraries, sometimes we need resistors and additional hardware, but the fundamental way we write code for them, with loops and if statements and variables, is pretty consistent. So what did we cover in day 8? Today you have built a circuit with temperature sensors, learned how to use a temperature sensor with a MicroPython and the Pico, use your first one-wire component and one-wire library, created a temperature monitor and temperature alarm system, learned more about for loops. As always, keep your circuit safe somewhere until tomorrow. Don't take anything apart just yet, and we'll see you again tomorrow for more fun. And my part of this is, don't forget to go down into the description and click the links for Patreon and the Discord. Be nice if you joined them both. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and that notification bell. But as always, happy gaming.